Let me ask you something. What story are you telling yourself? Because your life, your decisions, your limits, they're all being shaped by the narrative you keep repeating. And here's the truth. When there's no story, there's no risk. But when there is a story, your life is already at risk. See, most people don't realize that they're not held back by failure. They're held back by the story they created around failure. It's not the rejection, it's the story of I'm not good enough. It's not the loss, it's the story of I'll never get it back. The moment you create that story, you give it power, you give it permission to run your life, you start building walls to protect yourself from pain, and in doing so, you shut out opportunity, growth, and transformation. But what if you drop the story? What if you stopped needing a reason to explain why you are where you are, and just owned it? That's when the magic happens. No story means no excuses. No risk means no limits. Because suddenly, you're not a victim of your past, you're the creator of your future. People cling to stories because they give meaning, but not all meaning is useful. Some meanings are toxic. Some stories are nothing more than beautifully packaged lies we use to stay comfortable. I didn't grow up with support. I've always been shy. People like me don't get ahead. We dress them up with logic and call it reality. But it's not reality. It's just a prison made of words. And here's the irony. The very story that was built to protect you is the same story that's suffocating you. The greatest risk you'll ever take is to let go of the identity you've clung to for years and become something more. That's the real leap, not starting the business, not walking away from the job, not ending the toxic relationship. The real leap is dropping the story that told you weren't ready. Let me be clear. You don't need a better story. You need to destroy the old one, because the moment you stop telling yourself who you can't be, you begin discovering who you already are. No story, no risk. No story, no limits. No story, and suddenly life begins. So I challenge you right now, burn the old script, write a new one with action, courage, ownership, and truth. Because when you live without a story, you stop needing to survive, and you finally begin to live. Your story shapes your limits. That's not just a metaphor. It's the framework of your entire life. Every action you take, every opportunity you reject, every goal you never start, all stem from a story you've crafted in your mind. This story often starts as a simple thought, something someone told you, something you experienced, and over time it becomes a belief. That belief gets reinforced through repetition and emotion until it becomes your identity. You no longer think, I failed once. You start believing I'm a failure, and from that moment on you stop stretching, you stop risking, you stop growing. You see, human beings don't act according to truth. They act according to the meaning they assign to things, and meaning is driven by the story. Two people can go through the exact same setback. One person uses it as fuel to rise higher, the other uses it as evidence to stay down. What makes the difference? The story they told themselves about what that event meant. That's the power of story. It doesn't just describe your world, it creates it. If your story is filled with reasons why you're not good enough, why you'll never succeed, why life is unfair, then guess what? You'll live your life in alignment with that belief. You won't push, because you've already convinced yourself it won't work. You won't try, because you've rehearsed the pain of failing before you even started. And you'll call it reality when in fact it's just your script. The tragedy is most people never challenge that script. They repeat it over and over until it becomes truth in their minds. I've always been like this. It's just the way I am. But no one was born with a story. You weren't born afraid. You weren't born insecure. Those were learned patterns. That means they can be unlearned. And that is the breakthrough, understanding that your story is optional. You are not your past. You are not your trauma. You are not your failures. You are not what someone else once said about you. You are what you decide to be now. When you become aware of the story, you take the first step toward freedom. Because in that moment you realize if your story is what's limiting you, then changing it, or better yet, letting it go can liberate you. But that takes honesty, it takes courage. And it takes the willingness to look in the mirror and say, the only thing holding me back is the belief I've been feeding. So if you want to change your life, don't chase another strategy. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't keep hoping someone will save you. Instead, rip out the pages of the old story and start again. Create a narrative that aligns with your vision, not your fear. Because when you shift the story, you shift your limits. And when your limits shift, your life begins to expand beyond anything you thought was possible. Letting go of the story eliminates fear. Fear doesn't come from the action itself. It comes from the meaning you attach to it. The risk isn't in making the move, starting the business, or having the conversation. The real risk lies in the story you've created about what might happen, what it says about you, and how it connects to your worth. When you strip away the story, you strip away the fear. What's left is just action, clean, clear, and free from the emotional baggage that holds most people hostage. The problem is, we become addicted to our stories because they give us something familiar. The story might be painful, but it's known, and what's known feels safe. The fear we feel isn't just about failing. It's about stepping into the unknown without a script, without that internal narrative to predict and protect. The mind panics. So we retreat. We cling to what we know, even if it hurts us. That's how powerful the mind is when it's wrapped in story. It will choose suffering over uncertainty. But here's the truth. The moment you realize your story is not who you are, you gain the power to act without fear. Fear loses its grip when it has nothing to hold on to. If there's no story of "I'm not ready," then there's no reason to wait. If there's no story of "I always mess things up," then there's no reason to doubt yourself. If there's no story of "What if they reject me?" then you stop fearing their judgment. Without the story, fear has no voice. It shrinks. It disappears. It can't survive in the presence of raw, honest action. Imagine what you could do if you weren't burdened by the fear of how things might go. What if the only thing that mattered was the moment in front of you, the action you're about to take, not the drama you've created around it? That's what happens when you drop the story. You stop thinking and you start moving. You stop hesitating and you start creating. You stop reacting to fear and you start responding with courage. This doesn't mean fear won't show up. It will, but when you're not wrapped in a story, fear becomes information, not identity. It becomes something to observe, not obey. You see it for what it is, a signal, not a stop sign. Letting go of the story doesn't make you reckless. It makes you real. It grounds you in the truth of now instead of the illusion of what if, and in that space, everything becomes possible. You are no longer the character in a looped drama. You become the author of your life. And the moment you take that pen back, fear no longer writes your next chapter. You do destroy the old script to create a new life. That's the path to transformation. As long as you keep living by the same patterns, repeating the same stories, and justifying the same limitations, nothing truly changes. You might improve the surface, upgrade your environment, learn new tactics, but underneath, you're still being directed by an outdated script. A script written by past pain, old voices, and unconscious beliefs, and no matter how hard you try to move forward, if you're reading from that same script, you'll keep landing in the same place. Your life is not defined by your circumstances. It's defined by what you choose to believe in every moment. If the script in your mind says, "I've always been like this," or "I'm not the kind of person who can do that," then you'll keep acting that role, no matter how badly you want to break free. The mind is powerful. It wants congruence. It will always find a way to act in alignment with the identity you've accepted, even if that identity is sabotaging your future. That's why you have to destroy the old script. Not revise it, not tweak it, destroy it. Burn the old pages so you're no longer tempted to read from them again. The moment you let go of who you've been, you create space to become something more. This is the uncomfortable part. The mind doesn't like blank pages. It wants the illusion of control. But growth isn't born in comfort. It's born in chaos. In those moments when you've let go of the old story but haven't yet written the new one, you'll feel vulnerable. exposed, uncertain, and that's exactly where the breakthrough lives, because the blank space is where you rediscover your power. You're no longer acting from conditioning. You're choosing consciously what you want to believe, how you want to show up, and what kind of life you want to create. And the beautiful thing is, the new script doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't have to be detailed. It just has to be aligned with your highest truth. It can be as simple as I am enough. I create my reality. I am not my past. These beliefs become your new operating system. They guide your decisions, shape your energy, and pull you toward the future you actually deserve, not the one your old script told you to settle for. Rewriting your life starts with one courageous decision: to no longer be loyal to the person you used to be. It means refusing to carry the old narrative into a new season. It means taking full ownership, full responsibility, and full control, because you are not a character in someone else's play. You are the author. And the story you write from this point forward, that's the one that will define your legacy. So pick up the pen, burn the script, and write something legendary.